Kids, it's about time that you and I did a little bit of Scuttle Buttin with old Stevie. Hello kids, and welcome to a brand new installment of Weekend Wankshop, here with your best friend in the world, Uncle Ben. I don't need to explain nothing to you guys about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stepdad speed, go! And as always, guys, you can find a full tab for this week's lick on my Instagram page. So head over to BenEllerGuitars on Instagram, find the tab, learn how to play the lick, and upload a video of yourself ripping through it along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop. So obviously I'm using the exact same setup that Stevie Ray Vaughan used to use, an Ibanez guitar with light gauge strings into a Kemper profiler. I'm also tuned down 1/2 step, so if you want to play along, tune that rig down, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, D flat, E flat. This is one of those licks that I've always loved to listen to but never learned how to play, mainly because it seemed like every tab that I saw was wrong and it had a bunch of bends and stuff in it. Whenever you watch Stevie Ray Vaughan play this stuff live, you'll notice his hand is sliding around frantically, whereas if he was using bends, it'd look a lot more stationary. So I listened a bunch of times and I watched a whole lot of videos, and this is what I've come up with for what I think Stevie was up to on this lick. It's based around the E blues scale in the open position, which if you don't know that one, you definitely should. It goes like this. From low to high here, I'll play open and third on the low E. On the A string, I'll play open 1 and 2. On the D string, open and 2. On the G string, open 2, 3. On the B string, open 3. And on the high E string, open 3. Practice it forwards and backwards before you move on. So the intro here is basically taking this one lick and then throwing a different chord behind it every time to match a 12-bar blues and E kind of feel. Here's the lick itself. It's going to start off with the middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the G string. You're going to pick that note and slide up a whole step to fret number 4. After that, play the open B, the open high E, then the open B again. So we got a lot of open strings at the end. So we got our slide, B, E, B. Next, what you're going to do is to grab that 3rd fret B string here with your middle finger and slide up a whole step really quickly. It's important that that slide be fast because you don't want to really hear this D note here, or D flat since we're tuned down 1/2 step. You don't really want to hear that note that much. It's just immediately yanked up a whole step. After that, you're going to play the high E open again. And then you're going to play the 3rd fret B with a pull off to open B. So that section went slide up, high E, B string 3rd fret, pull off. After that last pull off on the B string, you're going to play this little sliding lick on the G. Stevie plays this with his middle finger. I do it with my pointer finger. But either way, what you're going to do is to play the 3rd fret on the G, slide down to 2, and then pull off to open. After that, you're going to end this on the root note of the scale, the D string here, fret number 2, which is your E note. So altogether, the lick is going to start off with that slide on the G, B, E, B, slide up on the B string, high E, 3rd fret B with a pull off, sliding lick on the G, 3, 2, open, and ending on that 2nd fret D. So after you play the lick, you're going to finish it out with this little E section right here. This is kind of a shorthand for like an E7 sharp 9, otherwise known as the Jimi Hendrix chord. But it seems like all that Stevie is playing here is the 3rd fret high E and the 3rd fret B. And he's going to smack that bass note down here, the low E string, smack the high notes, low note, high notes, low note, high notes. So that's low, high, low, high, high, low, high. Now you don't want that low E string ringing out the entire time like this. You can hear how muddy that gets. You really got to balance between the low notes and the high notes. You'll notice here with my middle finger, what I do is I use that to dampen the low E anytime it's time to smack these high notes. So that way they're never ringing out together. As soon as I smack these high notes, the middle finger dampens the low E. Just like that. So far we've had the main hook and then our E section. After that you do the main hook and the E section again. So you just play everything like this twice. Same thing again. After this he's going to play the lick and then play the 4 chord, which in this case is A. A7 specifically. Now how I'm playing this A7 chord right here is I'm barring D, G, and B on fret number 2 with my pointer finger, and the 3rd fret on the high E string here, which is a G note, the flat 7, uses that A7 sound. This is exactly how he plays an A7 in a lot of other songs like Pride and Joy too. Same kind of pattern. You're going to hit the bass note, which is A, strike your high notes, low note, high, high, low, high. And as for the dampening on that part, you can see I'm using my pointer finger not really because I'm playing the D string. He never necessarily plays that note when he's doing those little chops on the chord here. I'm more or less using my pointer finger here to dampen out the A string. Like that. You can see how every time I come down with the chord, it makes the tip of my finger mute the A string out. Every single time. After that, you're going to play the hook again. Back to E. So after that E, he's going to play the hook again, and then the 5 chord, which in this case is a B. Now Stevie is playing a B7 sharp 9 here. If you know the Jimi Hendrix chord, again the purple haze E7 chord up here, it's the exact same shape, just kind of located down here at the 2nd fret, so you got B. If you don't know that one, here's how it goes. 2nd fret A, 1st fret D, 2nd fret G, and then 3rd fret B. Now what he's doing here is just kind of going between the bass note, which is your A string, and then smacking the other high notes in the chord. Those do kind of bleed together a little bit more than the other ones do. And then lastly, to round it out, he'll play the hook followed by E again. So all together it's going to go hook, then E, hook, then E, hook, then A, hook, E, hook, B, hook, E. So that's kind of 6 sections all together there. It's all the same lick, you just change the chord at the very end of it. And let's take a second now and talk about the picking on this sumbitch. Everything about Scuttle Buttin is completely brutal, so it makes sense that the picking is also a monster to get a hold of as well. I can't comment and tell you that this is exactly how Stevie did it. I'm really not sure, but this is what's working for me. I like to start off with 2 downstrokes, followed by 2 upstrokes. So that was down, down, up, up. Notice that the last downstroke, the 2nd picking motion you make, it's got to kind of pull away from the face of the guitar. That way you can get back under the high E string for those 2 upstrokes. After that, I'm going to play a downstroke, an upstroke, a downstroke, another downstroke, and then end with an upstroke on the D string right there. So all together it's going to go down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up. It's pretty all over the place, I'm not going to lie, but that's what's working for me. Your mileage may vary. The hardest thing about nailing this is getting the timing down. The timing is slick as snot on ice. So what I would like to do is to play the lick kind of repeating a few times for you guys. That way you can hear it along with the metronome and maybe practice along with it. I'm going to set the metronome to 80 BPM. Also notice how the lick doesn't start on the downbeat of 1. It starts on the upbeat of 1. So you got to wait for that beat 1 to roll around and then you come in like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. you go, kids. Everything that you need to know to play one of the nastiest licks in blues history. If you've never really listened to a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, I cannot recommend enough that you go get everything that you can. He wasn't with us too long, so he doesn't have that big of a discography. You could even go out and get that excellent Stevie Ray Vaughan, I think it's called The Real Deal Greatest Hits or something like that. It has so much good material on it, it will blow your mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter for all kinds of cool guitar pictures and lesson snippets and stuff like that. Either way, my username is BenEllerGuitars. Also, if you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons with me to talk about theory and technique and all that other good stuff, you can drop me an email, benellerguitars@gmail.com. I'll hit you back and we'll talk about rates and times and all that other good stuff. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and stay tuned next week for another hot lick. Cheers!